And am I to presume that these are the last of your belongings? Then that means we can start getting your room set up, doesn't it? Well, of course I'm eager. I finally get to live with my best friend. Who wouldn't be eager about that? No, certainly not. I am terribly displeased for the circumstances, but I am glad that you'll be out of that unsupportive environment. I'm glad that you'll be surrounded by people who will respect and support you as you deserve. I absolutely hate the circumstances, but I will say I am glad that this happened when you have someone to support you, someone to take you in and take care of you. A lot of people don't have that, and I know it is always going to be better to have a supportive family. It isn't going to make it hurt less just because you have someone to look out for you. It's always going to hurt knowing that your family can't accept you. But I am relieved that you don't have to spend the rest of your life on the streets. That's what I'm trying to say, and I know I probably made that sound a lot more dismissive than I meant, but I really don't mean it that way. I know what it feels like to be on your own, and I certainly wouldn't wish it upon you. I would wish it upon your family, of course. They certainly deserve it. I do wonder if perhaps I can orchestrate a situation in which they're forced into that position. All right, I won't do anything of the sort. Although, if they did perhaps somehow lose all of their money, and if they were somehow forced into the poorhouses, would you be against that? Oh, right, of course. Your siblings and the other children who live in your household. I suppose I can't fault you for looking out for them. I do understand that. After all, they would either have to live in misery with the rest of your family, or they would be put into orphanages and likely separated, still living in misery. In that case, I will refrain from doing anything that would damage their living environment. However, you did tell me who your parents' employers were. Perhaps I can make their work lives miserable. Fine, I'll be the bigger person and take the high road. Even though they absolutely deserve to live in hell, I won't do anything to make that possible. You and your morals are awfully boring, though, I must say that. You're lucky I'm such a bad influence on you. Otherwise you'd never have any fun in your life. Yes, I know. Even though they do deserve it, and they've treated you terribly recently, it is always going to be difficult to turn your back on your family. After all, you've known them for so long. You're expecting to have their support. And as heartbreaking as it is, I know that it's difficult to let those ties go overnight, so I won't expect that of you. And if you'd prefer me to, I will stop saying things like that. I will stop talking about the situation entirely. We can just focus on your new future. Here, with me, and plenty of other supportive people. Did you really just ask me that? You're wondering if the demons are going to be supportive? They've been alive, well, not necessarily alive, but they've existed for thousands of years by now. I highly doubt they would waste any of their precious energy on prejudice such as this. Am I certain? You know that awful brat CL Phantom Hive? Yes, I've told you about him hundreds of times, of course. But did I also tell you about his butler, Sebastian? Yes, your guess is correct. He is another demon. I'm not so certain that he and Claude aren't in some sort of love-hate relationship. They always seem to find a way to challenge the other, one-up the other. And part of me does wonder, are they really doing it to prove that they're the better? Or Are they trying to win each other over? I know, they probably just want to kill each other, but it's more fun to imagine that they're secretly in love, don't you think? Like I said, you're lucky I'm a bad influence. Your mind is so boring sometimes. Now, let's start unpacking your things, shall we? Oh, that reminds me. I did get you something for your room. Or rather, I asked the triplets to make you something. I was doing a bit of research, and you don't have to use it or put it anywhere if you don't want to, but I did find that the rainbow, for whatever reason, is a symbol of support and respect for the community, and I thought that you might like this rainbow blanket. To help keep you warm, of course. Yes, it does look rather like Claude made it, doesn't it? I believe he did do the crochet work, but the triplets were kind enough to pick flowers and make dyes to colour it the colours of the rainbow. You don't have to keep it, of course. I thought that it might be nice for you to have a symbol of support in your life. A constant reminder that you're going to be safe now. You're going to be supported and respected. And no matter what, even if you realise that maybe what you are isn't exactly who you're meant to be, you're always going to be supported. Yes, I suppose I am saying if you change your mind, but I prefer to look at it as changing your perception, because you're not exactly changing your mind. That implies that you made a choice in the first place, which, of course, no one can choose their identity. Goodness, I wish I could. Oh, no, it isn't anything like that. It's just, I trusted you, and I told you the story of how I grew up. What I mean is, it's hard to remember the person I was before. The person I've become is different, and I wish that I could go back to who I was. Of course, not in the same situation, but the person that I was. And, of course, I understand that it's different, but in a way it's rather similar. You can't choose your identity in either case. The reason I say change your perception is because, well, as I've told you many times, and as I've learned on many occasions, life is nothing but a mixture of confusion, intrigue, and sometimes fun, but others might view it as chaos if you ask them. But it is confusion. And sometimes, I'm not saying that you're confused about who you are, but sometimes things can be misinterpreted. For instance, I'm not trying to say that you aren't correct about how you identify. I'm not trying to say that your idea of romance isn't correct. But what I mean is, sometimes in their questioning, a person will realize that they thought they could only be one thing. They thought that they had to be just like that all their life. Sometimes, for instance, if someone realizes they're attracted to the same sex, they think that they can't be attracted to the opposite as well. So they change their perception. They realize that they can, in fact, like both. For instance, if that was your case, you might change your perception and realize, oh, that is possible. It doesn't have to be just one or the other. It can be both. The same goes for gender identity. You don't have to be strictly male, female. You could be neither, you could be both, you could be everything, really. It's all about what you know about it and what you know about yourself. It's all about your perception. How do I know so much about these things? Well, as much as I hate her, I did ask Hannah to teach me about this. I wanted to make sure you were coming into the most supportive environment possible, so I asked her, since she does seem to be the most caring demon here, and she taught me everything she's learned over her lifetime. Would it be a lifetime for a demon? Or would it almost be an after-lifetime? No, that wouldn't make sense since they were never people who died. And at the same time, they're not alive, so would it be a lifetime? Well, whatever it is, throughout her existence, she's learned many things about this kind of thing. And she was kind enough to share it all with me, to make sure that you were as comfortable as possible here. And she taught the triplets and Claude as well. No. They didn't show any signs that they would disapprove. In fact, the triplets, I think, when she told them, they were mostly just focused on her chest. Yes, that was my internal reaction as well. But they did listen. They always listened to her. And Claude, I couldn't read his expression very well, but he at least seemed to understand that he was to obey Hannah's instructions. No, certainly not. He wouldn't disapprove, but he might be a bit indifferent to the point of coming across as disapproving. Yes, that's sort of why you thought you weren't welcome here at first. That's because he has a habit of being rather dull. Yes, I suppose that would be a more entertaining way to describe it, but I'd prefer not to get on his bad side by saying that. Oh, I know, I can make his bad side disappear if I wish, but it's more fun acting like he's a human who actually cares about me and doesn't just want to eat my soul. Oh, dear. That was a bit more depressing than I realized, wasn't it? My apologies. What? No, certainly not. No. You won't be out of a home after I'm gone. I will send for a notary and I will write out a will. You will inherit the estate, all of my funds. You'll never want for anything, I promise. And you will certainly never have to risk going back to that family of yours. If you can even call them that at this point. My point is, you'll still be taken care of. I promise. No matter what happens to me, no matter when it happens, you'll never have to be on your own, struggling. Yes, I swear it. Well, I can't exactly swear on my life considering this promise regards my death, now can I? I know what you meant. I'm just teasing you over the logic of it. Oh, because it's fun, silly. I like watching you get all flustered when you realize that you've messed up. Yes, that is why I often play cards with you. Because I like to explain the rules improperly. So then, I can correct you during the game. Oh, come now. I didn't use it to cheat. I just used it to look at that cute expression on your face. It's quite amusing. Oh, believe me, I've tried getting Claude to make that expression when we're playing cards. He just sighs in annoyance. I'm not even joking. He just looks at me, sighs, and walks away. Why, yes, that is one of the reasons I'm so excited about having you here. You're far more entertaining than he is. No, obviously I adore you for your company as well. I'm just saying that most of the entertainment comes from your little expressions. Oh! Did you just throw a pillow at me? Oh, you're going to regret that. It seems our first game in your new home has officially begun.